Traveling to Europe is going to change for millions of people starting in 2025. In this video, we'll explain how and if this will affect you, what it means for travel in the EU and the Schengen area, and what you'll need to do to be allowed to travel to Europe in 2025.
Hi, I'm Jen
And I'm Steve-O.
from Toucan Travel.
And so can you.
We've been traveling around Europe for the past few years, and things are changing. First, what is the Schengen area, and why should you care? Currently, it is made up of 29 European countries that have come together to abolish their internal borders. This allows for the free and unrestricted movement of people within the Schengen area. It also allows for common rules for controlling external borders and police cooperation. So now that you understand what the Schengen area is, let's talk about the Schengen visa and who needs it. There are two ways you can get a Schengen visa, and it all depends on what passport you hold.
If you are from one of the following 62 visa-exempt countries, then the entry stamp you get when you enter any of the countries in the Schengen area serves as your Schengen visa and allows you to stay and travel around in any of the 29 Schengen area countries without having to apply for a new visa for each country. That is, until mid-2025 when all of that changes. Keep watching because we'll get more into exactly what those changes are.
If you are not from one of the visa-exempt countries, you will need to apply and be approved for a Schengen visa. That typically involves booking an appointment with the nearest Schengen area country embassy or consulate, gathering your supporting documents like proof of accommodation, your travel itinerary, and maybe even some financial documentation, and then a formal interview going over your travel plans and reasons for travel.
Typically, a Schengen visa is valid for 90 days in a 180-day period, and that is a lot more confusing than it sounds. That 180-day period is any 180-day period. So, for example, if you spend 45 days in Spain, which is in the Schengen area, and then go to Albania for a week, which is not in the Schengen area, and then go to Germany, which is in the Schengen area, you do not get a new 90 days to spend in the Schengen area. You will only have 45 days left to spend in the Schengen area because you are still within that 180-day period. If this all sounds very confusing, don't worry. There are a multitude of apps that will help you keep track of your time in the Schengen area. You put in your travel dates and the app does all of the math. The apps can tell you how many days you can stay in the Schengen area or how long you'll have to wait before you can go back in. Do not overstay your 90-day Schengen visa. Penalties for overstaying your time in the Schengen area are not good. You will get deported, probably fined, and maybe even banned from entering the Schengen area for years to come. And nobody wants that. Europe is where they keep all the good cheese and wine.
But what if I want to spend more than 90 days in Europe, you may ask? Great question. There are currently 16 countries in Europe that are not part of the Schengen area, even if they are members of the EU. These countries are in Europe, but they are not part of the Schengen area, and they have their own immigration and visa policies. That means you can spend time in those countries while you wait for your Schengen clock to reset. If you want to visit any of these countries to extend your time in Europe, make sure you read up on their visa policies as they relate to the passport that you hold. So now that you understand how the Schengen area works and the 90-180 days rule, let's get into what's changing in 2025.
The European Travel Information and Authorization System, or ETIAS, is the new system for travelers who want to enter the Schengen area. Before the implementation of ETIAS, travelers from visa-exempt countries could just show up in the Schengen area and get a Schengen visa at immigration, no questions asked. That will no longer be the case. Now, travelers will have to fill out paperwork and pay a small fee.
The ETIAS authorization is not a visa. Rather, it is a background check that must be completed before entering the Schengen area. The security check is to see if a traveler may be a criminal, security, or health risk before they arrive. The whole process can be done online and finished in minutes. It costs €7 per application and is free for travelers under 18 and over 70. In order to apply for ETIAS, you'll need a current valid passport that is machine-readable and bears the electronic passport sign or chip. For each ETIAS application, you'll be required to provide personal biometric data, for example, your name, gender, date of birth, etc., passport or travel document information, EU member state of entry, background questions on an applicant's health and criminal record, and previous EU immigration history.
The US and Canada have had similar systems for travelers in place for years. It's just taken the EU a while to iron out the kinks and actually implement the ETIAS system. ETIAS will only affect passport holders from countries who can currently enter the Schengen area visa exempt. If you are from any of those countries starting in mid-2025, you will need to fill out an ETIAS application before traveling to the Schengen area. Once you are approved, your ETIAS authorization is valid for 3 years or until the passport you applied with expires, whichever comes first. Once ETIAS is implemented in mid-2025, there will be a 6-month grace period where travelers will not be denied entry even if they did not apply for ETIAS before they travel to the Schengen area. After the initial 6-month transitional period, there will be another 6-month period where the ETIAS system will be in full effect, and the only travelers who will not be denied entry are those traveling to Europe for the first time. Basically, ETIAS will be mandatory as of 2026.
That said, we made this video 2 years ago when ETIAS was supposed to start in 2023. So who knows? If you are not from one of the Schengen area visa-exempt countries, then you don't really need to worry about ETIAS because things aren't going to change for you moving forward. You will still need to apply and be approved for a Schengen visa as outlined earlier.
All in all, the biggest difference is for passport holders from visa-exempt countries. Instead of just being able to travel into the Schengen area wherever you want, starting in mid-2025, you'll have to get an ETIAS authorization before you travel to the Schengen area.
ETIAS is just a small extra step that you're going to need to take if you want to go on vacation in Europe. Make sure you go to etias.com to see all of the latest requirements and updates for entering the Schengen area, depending on your passport country.
If you plan to travel to Europe in 2025 or beyond, we hope this info has been helpful.
And if you want to learn our travel hack for getting free accommodation across Europe and all over the world, watch this video next.
We'll see you there.
Bye.
Bye-bye.